You taste nothing but the briny, fresh crunch of the shrimp. That's hot. But what's very interesting here is the bite of the water chestnuts.
Correct.
You can see everything that's inside this dumpling. It's as crystal clear as that.
So this is the most popular dumpling of Sriracha.
Hi folks, welcome to an episode of Gourmet on the Road. Actually, Gourmet on the Road invited. Today we will be meeting my friend Chef Vikas Seth. Now Vikas is the corporate chef for a restaurant group that has a clutch of restaurants, but today we're going to visit him at his Asian restaurant, and this one's called Sriracha. Today also happens to be Holi, so we're going to be tasting something colorful with Chef Vikas Seth at Sriracha. We're at UB City, Bengaluru's most happening retail and dining destination as well. Hi Chef, how are you?
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Happy Holi.
Same to you.
There seems to be something colorful happening.
We are playing with the colors and
Okay.
all natural, and these are the holy cones, and we are also doing a lot of dumplings with natural colors.
That's right, and that's the reason why we're here. So we've been planning to catch up for a while,
Yes.
and it so happens that our catch up is happening over Holi.
Yes.
So we said we should catch up over some colorful dumplings, which is what Sriracha is famous for. So Chef, so tell me, how did these colorful dumplings come about?
See, we always like to use a lot of natural colors in our food, and especially when we were designing our dumpling menu, we thought of using a lot of vegetable puree and herb puree to give a natural color to our dumplings. So you'll see it right away when we are going to be trying quite a lot of it.
But before that, I think we should head into the kitchen
Let's go.
and watch how these dumplings are prepared. Let's go.
Come out.
This is the heart of Sriracha.
Yes.
Wow, so I can already see
Yes.
an array of dumplings here,
Yes.
full on color.
So Kripal, you're going to be trying all of this today.
So Chef, I can see these in two pans.
Yes.
Are these vegetarian?
Yes, you got it right.
Okay.
So the green one, this section is all veg.
Okay.
And this red one, this section is all non-vegetarian.
These look fantastic. These look as colorful as that.
This is holy for you.
Oh, fantastic.
Happy Holi one more time.
Happy Holi. We've certainly picked the right restaurant to come on Holi day.
Yes.
So of course this is the flour.
Yes.
Is it the potato starch?
So this is basically a mix of potato and wheat starch.
Okay.
And we are not using refined flour in making this. This is a very traditional way of making the dumplings. What we are playing with it is basically the moisture content is normally played with the puree of a vegetable or a herb.
So
we
instead
didn't-
of using water, you're using the puree of a vegetable or a
Yes.
herb to give
Yes.
it that color.
Yes.
So for instance, in this case, what would
This is the spinach.
the spinach?
Yes.
So you blanch the spinach.
Correct.
You puree it,
Correct.
and then you
Strain it,
You
extra
strain
strain
it.
it because otherwise you'll get the specks of it. Now this one is a very interesting one, which
Okay.
is done with the purple cabbage. The juice of the red cabbage, which is purple in color,
Okay.
that is added to the mix. And then you have something which is done with beet.
Okay.
And this one is done with carrot. Yes.
So basically, you take a vegetable and you break it down to its colored
puree basically.
puree,
Yeah.
which is strained.
Yes.
So basically, you're substituting water with that.
There is
vegetable color.
Yes, there is addition of water as
There
well.
is some water that
There
goes
is
in as
water
well.
because it's going to be a liquid,
All right.
puree and liquid which will go together.
What's this, chef?
So this one is our wasabi dumpling. What we are doing with edamame. So that has a little
fantastic.
bit of mashed edamame in that, and that is pure white.
Well, these dumplings aren't even ready. They still have to be steamed in those steamers behind.
Which is
But I've already got the juices in my mouth flowing, and we haven't even gotten to the non-vegetarian dumplings yet. So chef, what's here?
so this is a very special dumpling. This is done with the squid ink, and this is all seafood. So this is basically prawn, fish, squid, which
Wow.
gets into it. And and we have used squid ink just to give a hint of it. It's not very strong.
So the squid ink basically results in that color,
Yes.
in that charcoal color. Charcoal is also the in thing these days.
it is, but we are not using the charcoal
You're not
powder.
using charcoal,
We are using squid ink.
you're using
and,
squid ink.
and it goes very well as you're preparing something which is seafood dominated preparation. So it goes very well.
And what is this now?
So this one is actually a char sui chicken, which is done with soy. So we've added a little bit of soy in this give the the color.
So give it that toasted brown sort of a color, and then again, I guess this is beet.
See, this is beet. Yes. So this is our most popular dumpling at the restaurant. This is called aromatic chicken. It has a flavor of lemongrass and kaffir lime, which works wonders. And you're going to be trying this as well.
So well, there's plenty of dim sums,
to try.
Dumplings for us to be trying, and I think they're rolling out some of the...
This is the vegetable one. This is basically the carrot, which is being stuffed with broccoli. So there's the broccoli, there's a little bit of celery, there's a little bit of chili. So it's a very flavoursome dumpling what we are making.
I mean, the way he's doing it so fast, how many dumplings does he prepare in a day?
I believe he must be preparing close to 500.
500 dumplings in a day.
Even beyond. He is the best chef. I'm telling you, in India today, to do the best dumpling possible.
I love the way he's crinkling up those folds.
He's been gifted. He's a gifted guy.
And then you just take off the extra dough with that.
Yes.
Fantastic. Well, the dumplings are going into the baskets and they're going to be steamed right here. So for this edition of Gourmet on the Road, I've also he's invited me for a meal here, but I've invited him back to join me on the table because we've got 22 odd dumplings to finish between us.
Okay. Amazing.
Oh, that is hot. So you can see that steam, that jet of steam almost.
Yes.
So the idea is that you cook the dumplings with that steam really quick.
Yes, as fast as possible, and maintaining everything together, all the flavors goes together. So we don't want to leave it for too long, so it becomes mushy.
So you basically want to cook it as rapidly as possible so that the dumpling holds its shape and doesn't start wilting away.
Correct.
So on that note, let's get to the restaurant here at Sriracha and taste those colorful dumplings. Let's go, chef.
Let's do it.
Great to be here.
My pleasure to have you.
And especially after watching those dim sums getting steamed, I'm ravenously hungry, chef.
It's going to be coming right away. Table sauces.
So of course you've got some chilies here.
Yep.
This is the daikon radish in a...
With a yellow bean sauce.
So there's some soy in that.
Correct. The yellow bean.
And then you have some kimchi, of course.
Correct. This is done with the Chinese cabbage.
And then you have the chili sauce. What is this?
Lemon crust.
What are you having?
So this is the Mandarin drink. So with lots of orange.
So this is a lemongrass and lime.
Lemongrass, lime.
All right.
Tea.
And some tea as well. Lovely. That explains the color. Cheers, chef.
Cheers. Wow.
Certainly the refreshing drink. Loads of lime and the hint of lemongrass that you taste on the palate. So chef, how long do you pickle your kimchi?
I'd say every day in the morning, when the kitchen starts around 8-9 o'clock.
Okay.
So that's the time when the fresh lots are made.
So you don't really do it the traditional way where you marinate the kimchi and all that?
We make it fresh.
You make it fresh. So this is more like a fresh kimchi.
It's a very, very fresh kimchi.
Oh, you can definitely taste that. That chili has gone straight to my throat. What chili do you use in the chef?
So this is basically our, the chili what you see on the side. It's a part of that chili. And also there is a little bit of galangal, a little bit of lemongrass added to it. A touch of sugar, salt, vinegar.
I definitely got some lemongrass there.
Yes.
So it's not a traditional kimchi.
No, this is our way of doing the, our kimchi. So it has a touch of sriracha in that.
Next, the daikon. So again, this is done fresh, or?
Yes, all these are fresh, preparations and kimchis.
That yellow bean.
Yes.
Packs a punch.
Yeah.
So chef, what are we tasting first?
So the first one is our most favorite one, the purple looking our mushroom dumpling, which has a touch of truffle oil as well.
And that's what you can smell as soon as you open the basket.
Yes.
And what's on top of that?
So on top of that is bell peppers, what we have added to it.
Okay.
And the stuffing is basically a mix of mushroom. So you have oyster mushroom, you have button mushroom, you have shiitake in that, and all that is being combined together with the Asian white sauce.
With the Asian white sauce.
Yes.
Now what is that?
Another way of making the sauce.
And then you have this.
This is our spinach dumpling, which has a filling of water chestnut, corn, and carrots. And of course, the skin, which is green in color, is being flavored with spinach.
So it's the spinach puree, the strained spinach puree, which kind of colors the skin.
That's what we have.
So let's go for it. Oh, that aroma of that truffle oil.
Yes.
So heady.
Cheers.
Cheers. If there ever was a dim sum, cheer.
There is. That's Sriracha.
That's banging umami flavors.
Yeah.
You can definitely taste the bite of the shiitake.
Yeah.
Then there is some sort of a sauce that you mentioned, which is holding it all together.
Correct. So that's the secret, basically, to get all the flavors together. It has a little bit of starch and butter added to it to get that gooey feeling, and it works beautifully well with a little bit of salt and soy.
Oh, love
That's
it.
about it.
But I just love that umami hit of that mushroom dumpling, and also you get the bite of the shiitake.
Yes.
That's in that, and then of course that very gooey sort of a sauce that brings it all together. We have a bunch of dumplings to taste. If not, I would have definitely asked for one more of that mushroom dumpling. That's what you call it.
Yes.
That's hot. But what's very interesting here is the bite of the water chestnuts.
Correct. And you're also getting the corn. You're also getting a little bit of carrot. You're also getting a little bit of celery. So all that mixed with a very little hint of spice in this. We are using fresh red chilies in this. It really works out very well.
What I really taste in this dumpling, you call this
The spinach dumpling.
the spinach dumpling, is that crunch of the water chestnut, that sweet pop of the sweet corn.
Yes.
And then you have this vegetal sort of a flavor that wafts through your palate.
Yes.
I guess probably which is the spinach, which is there in the stuffing as well. And then I think the dumpling, the case just serves to deliver that to your mouth. Right?
Yeah, from the skin you will not get the spinach
That's
feel
right.
as such, but when you are looking at it, you get a very earthy or very vegetable feel.
You feel very green when you look at it.
It is 100% green.
100% green. Oh, lovely.
Lovely.
So, chef, you have different sauces that go with each one of these.
Correct.
What are we tasting next?
So next is our pumpkin dumpling and then broccoli dumpling.
And what's this sprouting out of the pumpkin dumpling?
Okay, so that's the stem of parsley.
Oh, the stem of parsley.
Yes.
And then, so what's in the pumpkin dumpling, you said?
There is roasted pumpkin.
Roasted pumpkin.
And there is also water chestnut, and there is also a spice. So try both.
All right. I love the sheer translucence.
Yes. You can actually see a part of the stuffing inside.
That's right.
Yeah.
This will be hot.
It is.
Should we go for it and risk burning? What the heck? Hot food? Always wicked.
Well, you can do it.
It's hot. I can see that certainly. So you have the pumpkin, you have the water chestnut there. So the pumpkin is more of a mash.
It's been roasted, that's a mash, and the water chestnut is giving you the crunch. And then there is also a little bit of Asian spices which are gone into it. And
You can definitely feel the warmth of the Asian spices
Yes.
on your throat
correct.
as you're tasting it.
There is a jasmine tea. Can we serve?
Sure. I think dim sums and tea, I think makes for the perfect combination. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. I love that sweet floral aroma of that jasmine tea. So chef, I think we should very quickly move on to
The next one.
which is the carrot dumpling. I just love the daintiness of these folds here. So are there a specific number of folds that go into this?
Well, if you go to see, the number of folds we normally won't count, but the symmetry if you see between this and that, there won't be much difference. There might be one single fold up and down, but when you look at it, it will be almost similar.
This takes a lot of skill.
This is actually a very, very skilled job making this and then making it quickly. The dough doesn't last too long. So you have to use that dough after cooking it.
You have to work.
Yeah, work with it as early as possible. Don't keep it for too long. Basically.
On that note,
Oh yes.
the carrot dumpling.
Carrot dumpling, which is stuffed with the broccoli, celery, a little bit of chili.
Ah,
Go for it.
let's go for it. There's also a fair bit of garlic that's gone into the stuffing.
Yep.
This green inside is so unexpected.
Yep.
So you got that bright orange of the carrot outside.
Right.
I love that crunch of the celery. You can also see some chili which is there. There's a certain pungency of the garlic as well, which is what you're tasting in this.
Yes. Today being a Holi, we did with this carrot skin. Otherwise, it's white. It's
So this is a
translucent
special
actually.
dumpling.
Yes.
These dumplings are flavorful enough to be eaten just by themselves. But I think I'm going to taste this with some of that sauce which is right here.
Go for it.
And I think I'm going to go for a bit of the ginger and the light soy, right?
Yeah.
Just get a bit of the ginger and soy onto my dumpling. That carrot dumpling was really flavorful. I can still taste the garlic, and also because of the fact that I got some ginger onto that dumpling, I can feel that warmth on my tongue. It's as aggressive as that. What are we tasting next, chef?
Okay, so here we have another two lovely veg dumplings. So the first one is basically done with the wasabi and edamame, okay? And the second one, which is a twin color one, it's done with Chinese cabbage and pak choy. So there's a garnish of a little bit of a piece of pomegranate on top.
And so this yellow comes from
We also use a bit of custard powder.
a custard powder in that.
And a puree of pumpkin. So there's a mix of both.
Lovely. And then that pomegranate just stains it a light pink. Oh, I love the sheer translucence of that dumpling. You can see everything that's inside this dumpling. It's as crystal clear as that. So chef, the last dumpling, I did the mistake of biting into it.
Oh, opening it.
Opening it. I think these dumplings are best savored whole.
Yes.
Right? I thought I would taste it with some of that sauce, that light soy with the ginger, but I think I ruined that dumpling experience for me.
I would say that a lot of people have their personal taste. A lot of people try to take 2 bites. It's all good if you can manage it. But if you open it and if it's been...
That's right. You lose the filling.
Yes.
So I would say when you come here, of course, we're doing a tasting, so we're tasting one each.
Yes.
When you come and taste, have at least 2 of a dumpling. One, just savor it by itself. Get to know that dumpling a little better. Get to know what's in it. Meet it. Have a conversation with it. And the next dumpling, go all out with the sauces. Whatever catches your fancy, whether it's the chili or the sesame soy or the ginger soy.
So cheers to this.
Cheers to this, chef.
Cheers.
So the first thing that I bit here was that pomegranate. It's interesting because what you taste first is that fruity pop of that pomegranate. I thought that pomegranate was out there just for show, but that's the first element of that dumpling that greeted my palate.
You see, even though it's just a single kernel, it can still make a difference.
It does. I must say that you're a big fan of water chestnuts, right? So there's the water chestnut.
See, basically in the veg, there are a lot of dumplings you will get that for a good texture.
For that
Otherwise,
crunch.
if you're using only the greens and the greens get wilted fast, the crunch won't be there. So that is a basically go-to crunch thing. It's better than the carrot.
And I think the crunch of the water chestnut has a certain sprightliness to it.
Yes.
Like when you crunch into a blanched carrot, as opposed to when you crunch into a blanched water chestnut. That water chestnut has a certain sprightliness to it, which elevates.
It has a very good bite.
That's right.
And very good Asian connect.
That's right.
That's why.
I think it's time to go for the edamame and wasabi dumpling here. I think with this one, because I think the dumpling is a little pasty from what I can tell on the outside, I think I'll do a 2-bite strategy here.
You succeeded in that.
And water chestnuts again. I must say that the wasabi in this is quite muted.
There's a subtle hint of it.
That's right.
It's an edamame which is playing.
That's
with
right.
it.
I think this is the sort of dumpling that, in my opinion, would perhaps benefit from some of that.
Yes. So basically with this, actually we give the chili soya, but the other one has a lemongrass. So that's a very interesting dip.
That's a lemongrass dip.
Yeah.
I'm going to taste this just by itself. But I think that may be perhaps a little too much for that edamame. What is the sweetening in that?
See, this is basically done with the lemongrass, and we use a little bit of sugar.
Sugar, that's right. So I think the sugar in that,
Yes.
I certainly need that jasmine tea to cleanse my palate a bit. But I think this is what we should probably,
Please go for it.
I'm going to
Go for it. Yeah, you need this.
crest this
Yeah.
with a bit of the chili and maybe also get some of the soy to drizzle over the dumpling. I think that's going to make for a flavorful punch. That soy and the heat of the chili.
Great combination.
Great combination. I think this was definitely a dumpling that benefited from the sauce. In my opinion, when I'm tasting dumplings, you typically don't need that sauce.
Yes.
Because the dumpling has all that flavor.
All the flavors. Okay, we'll go with the next one now.
So chef, we've been doing a lot of vegetarian dumplings. So what's coming up next? More vegetarian? So we're doing a tasting. So chef said I've got a combination of vegetarian, non-vegetarian dumplings. I said let's begin with the vegetarian dumplings first and then we will ease into the non-vegetarian dumplings. So I hope you've not forgotten that part. That we have to ease into the non-vegetarian dumplings at some point.
Okay, you have asked for it now. Let's do all the non-veg.
So what are we getting, William?
Shrimp dumpling and charcoal.
Well, William is serving us and he's been great with his service.
After eating all the veg, time to non-veg.
All right. Nothing like some tea with dim sum.
So out here we have two variations
Okay.
of our seafood dumpling. One is done with the prawns. The other one, the black one, is basically a squidding. It's been stuffed with shrimp, fish and squid. And what you see interestingly on top is the egg white.
Oh, lovely.
And tobiko, the flying fish.
The flying
egg.
fish roe. So this is basically a prawn hargao.
Yes. Please go for it.
I think the skill of a dumpling master is in the translucent appeal of that skin.
Yes.
That skin should serve barely enough to convey all that flavors to your mouth, but in doing so should excite your taste buds, because when you look at this, you get a sense of what's inside and you want to get to it at the earliest. I can already feel the juices flowing in my mouth.
Go for it.
You taste nothing but the briny, fresh crunch of the shrimp in this. When you get your dumplings served to you, make sure you eat them hot. Sure, get your Instagram pic, get your Facebook pic, but do it quick, because you want to ensure that it's still hot when it meets your mouth. So chef, this is my first time tasting this black dumpling.
The squidding one.
So the skin is stained with squidding.
Yes.
And then of course you've got an assortment of seafood inside.
Correct.
And then crested with the egg white, which is like a soft meringue, and the flying fish roe, the tobiko.
Let's go.
So you taste the savouriness of the seafood. I think that egg basically just lends it some fluffy volume. But the tobiko, the flying fish roe, the egg of the flying fish, as you crunch into it, you can feel these minor explosions happening in your mouth.
That creates all the excitement in your mouth.
I can spot some tobiko that's fallen off the dumpling. The salty flavor of the ocean, that's what you taste in that flying fish roe.
So this is the most popular dumpling of Sriracha. This is the aromatic chicken.
Okay.
It has a lot of flavor from kafir and Asian flavors together with the chicken, which has been minced. And
All
it
right.
has a hint of fresh red chili as well. The next one is the duck dumpling, which is done with fresh plums.
Ah, the duck with fresh plums.
Yes. So let's go with the chicken first.
Let's go for it, chef. This is quite delicate.
Very hot. It was too hot on my palate.
Well, it was steaming hot. You definitely have that freshness of the kafir lime. And what I also like is that the chicken mince isn't ground to a paste. It is ground to a grainy sort of a texture. So you're tasting the bite of that chicken as well. There's also some warmth that I get. So there's some chilies in this.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of chilies.
Ah.
In the sense, the fresh red chili creates all the difference in this preparation. Of course, the very subtleness of celery, there is ginger in that as well. So basil is also there. So there are so many subtle flavors together.
But what's really dominating is that juicy, grainy bite of that chicken.
Yes.
And that freshness that you get from the kafir lime and the heat of the fresh red
Heat of the
chili.
chili really dominates.
That's right. The duck with the fresh plums. I really don't know what to expect in this.
Duck is not everybody's favorite, to be very frank with you. But this particular dumpling has been popular with a lot of people.
That's right.
Okay, let me go first now.
You know, when you're tasting duck, you want to taste that unctuous, fatty flavor of that meat. That's something that you definitely taste. You also have a bit of duck fat that probably goes into this.
Yes. A little bit of skin.
That's what you're tasting.
Yeah. Also, you're getting a little bit of plum, you know, when you bite into it.
So the plum gives it that crunch
Yeah.
and also that tinge of sweetness.
Yes.
But what I really like here is that unctuous fattiness of that duck meat. I think the duck dim sum, like you rightly said, is not for everyone.
It's not everybody's
It's an
favorite.
acquired taste because the flavors are certainly punchier, especially after having tasted the chicken, which was flavorful in its own way.
Yeah.
But this is 2 notches higher, and especially the flavor, the gaminess of that meat.
Yes, that gaminess is the right thing. You know, it
Yeah.
has a lot of gamey flavor. That's really killers, and some people love it, and some people don't.
I certainly love it.
Okay, so we have another delicious chicken dumplings. So the one which is translucent is our basil chicken, which is finished with the garlic on top, and the brown one is the char siu chicken with the char siu sauce.
So the
filling
roasted
inside.
barbecue sauce that you...
Yes, the Chinese roasted barbecue sauce. The chicken has been cooked in. Both are unique, as one has a lot of basil and one has a lot of barbecue sauce.
So I
go
think
for it.
I'm going to go for the
Basil.
one first,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
That's a delicate wrapper on this one.
Yes. Very hot.
Hot food, there's a wicked pleasure that I personally get from eating hot food.
Very hot. Piping hot.
From eating piping hot food. I don't know how many times I've burned my tongue, but I think I've got a strong tongue because it refuses to get covered down. Because despite the heat of the dumpling,
Yes.
I think that fervor of that garlic, the pungency of the garlic is what you taste. And what I really love about this dumpling is that the skin, the wrap of that dumpling almost dissolves the moment you place it in your mouth. It's quite a delicate...
Whatever you have tried till now, this was the most delicate one. You know, the taste also really comes out very well. The basil, freshness, the whole ingredient which is getting into it.
I just loved it. Oh,
Yeah.
we got more dumplings.
Yeah, that's a fish dumpling.
That's a fish dumpling.
Yes, with sesame.
I think next I'm going to go for that char siu chicken. This one I'm going to go half and half. You have that sweet, spicy warmth of that Chinese barbecue sauce and the ginger. That's a flavor bomb. Although it's a Chinese barbecue sauce, I think that sauce has been enlivened
Yeah,
with a whole lot of chili.
Yes.
There's some garlic, there's some ginger.
Yes.
So it's a char siu that has made for itself a home in Bengaluru, assimilating the local spicy fervor of the land. This is not a traditional char siu bao, sort of a flavor.
Not at all.
So if you like your dumpling damdar, definitely go for the char siu. I think I need to get some water before I go for that fish because I'm sure I won't be able to taste the fish after that dumpling.
So this is our fish dumpling, which is done with the spring onion.
Okay.
Very nice, very subtle.
I know sesame brings a certain nuttiness. So this is a freshwater fish. So obviously the fish is very subdued in its flavor. But then you have the crunch of the spring onion. So the fish is quite mellow in its flavors. But I think it's the vegetable crunch of the spring onion and the toastiness of the sesame. And there's some pepper in it as well. I think there's loads of black pepper that I'm tasting. Especially towards the end of the bite.
Okay, so this is our favorite
Wow.
skinless dumpling.
Wow, that looks awesome.
These are prawns which are wrapped in spinach and then steamed lightly. And then what you have on top is the bean sauce.
And it's presented in a
served.
banana flour. This looks so pretty that I don't want to disturb this. All these prawns look like they're resting in these spinach blankets on that banana flour. I don't feel like disturbing them, but we've got a taste
Go for it.
and I'm certainly going to go for it. So basically you have that prawn and spinach juice as it was being steamed that's trapped in that banana flour. I certainly want to make a go of that liquid. You know, I love the clean flavors of this dim sum. All that you taste is the freshness
And the sauce,
of the
basically.
prawn. And that sauce is there, but I think it's the freshness of the ingredients. The prawn and that spinach, which is what you taste. So I think the flavors here are very, very clean. It's quite the opposite of that spirited char siu that we had just before. I appreciate the fact that despite the spinach being wilted and then wrapped around that prawn, that spinach still has its vegetal flavors intact.
Yes. See, what we have tried to do is basically wrap the shrimp with the spinach. So you're trying to keep the juice as much as possible between the spinach and the prawn. Of course, what you saw, what you have taken it, those are the one which has seeped out, which is also very, very tasty and very
It is.
flavoursome.
I think I'm going to make an exception and go
Please
for
go for
another
it.
one of this.
Please go for it.
And I'm eyeing this dim sum here, which has all that black bean sauce that's napped on top. I'm going to go for this in one bite. I lost some of my bean sauce there, but I still have some more here. So you got the freshness of the prawn, the spinach, and then that fermented flavor
Yeah.
of the beans. That's delicious. Oh, I love that. There's some onions also in that.
Shallots. Can you get that? But it's very little. It won't be like dominant.
So chef has
We
given
use
up,
a lot of shallots.
but I haven't. So, chef, I'm going to improvise a bit. I'm going to switch plates
Oh,
and I'm going to eat off the steamer.
okay.
I want to get every bit of this dumpling. I want to get the prawn, the spinach, of course, but also some of that chili.
Yes.
Press that on the dumpling. Get some of that bean too, and make for a nice, fresh, savory mouthful. That's a look of happiness. Dumpling happiness. Well, that was a delicious prawn and spinach dumpling, but I've enjoyed almost all of the dumplings, and I think each one of them was special, each one unique in character. You know, to be honest, I've not tasted the whole variety of dumplings that you have on the menu here. I certainly knew they were colorful, but sometimes when you look at things like that, you say, well, it looks pretty, but does it taste the part too? Well, the dumplings here certainly did.
Lovely.
So thank you very much, Vikas, for inviting me
Real
over.
pleasure, real honor to have you, Kripal. It's always fun to talk with you, and it was real pleasure to meet on a holy day and to enjoy all these colorful dumplings together.
That's right. So the Festival of Colors, holy and colorful dumplings to go with it. So if you like your dumplings, if you like them to be flavorful and you also like them to look pretty, definitely find your way to Sriracha and check out the dim sums on the menu here. I've tasted 13 or 14. I've lost count, Vikas, but then when you have a good thing going, who's counting? I've enjoyed them thoroughly, and I think you will too. So until the next episode of Gourmet on the Road, stay safe and happy
Eating.
eating. If you'd like to support the work that we do at Food Lovers TV, do consider joining our membership community on YouTube by hitting the join button below or on the home page. You could pledge a nominal sum and receive special privileges like behind the scenes footage, shoot updates, access to live Q&As, and a lot more. You could support us on our Patreon page as well. For more info, check out the links in the description below. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment below. Happy eating!